Welcome back to the broadcast. We hope you were all able to tune in last week when we took an inside look at how learning is being continued during the school closure. Today we talk about a similar topic, except we look at it from a different angle. We're going to look at the technology that's required to support remote learning, the same technology that also supports learning in our schools. We call it one-to-one. You're also going to learn about some of the training that our staff went through to be prepared to support this type of learning. We hope you enjoy.
I'm Mac Dewis, Chief Operations Officer for Bedford County Public Schools, and I'm joined today by a great group of folks to discuss the Bedford County Public Schools program to provide students with devices, otherwise known as a one-to-one initiative. We believe that these devices, and we use Chromebooks, allow learning to be more student-centered with access to information, communication tools, and other digital opportunities. We've seen the benefits of this work for a few years now, but especially in the last several weeks due to the recent school closure. I'll first introduce Ed Hoisington. He's our Director of Technology, and he's been a leader in the implementation of Chromebook use even before this recent school closure. So Ed, thanks for being here today. What's the major objective of the BCPS one-to-one initiative?
All right, well, the main objective for our initiative has always been to provide devices to students to facilitate learning, whether that learning is at school, whether that learning is at home. Basically, anywhere learning can happen, we want to make sure that a student has access to a device.
Great. So when did the school district begin distributing Chromebooks, and how has that effort evolved over time?
We actually began back in 2017 with a pilot program at Jefferson Forest High School and Stanton River Middle School. We put out 940 Chromebooks at that time. The original plan was to have a 5-year rollout to one-to-one, and that was escalated. And this last year, we were able to roll out one-to-one to grades 6 through 12, with over 3,000 Chromebooks going out to those grade levels.
So, I'm for one, I'm really glad that we made that choice to do that acceleration, and the school board funded that in last year's budget. In light of the fact that those devices are a pretty major lifeline right now for communication between our teachers and students. What had to happen in the schools for the facilities to be ready to support all of those devices in each learner's hands?
Yeah, that's a good question, because without what's happening within the buildings, we could not have these devices. So prior to the rollout of one-to-one, we had to make sure that every one of our buildings was capable for a multitude of devices to connect back to access points to the internet so that every student had access. So we had to make sure that the wiring was upgraded. We went in with fiber backbone. We went in, made sure that access points were all upgraded. If switches needed to be replaced, we replaced switches. We, in the last several years, went from a 100 meg pipe of internet up to a 5 gig pipe with all the technology and equipment at the ready to go up to 10 gigs should we ever need it.
So you've mentioned providing devices for students in grades 6 to 12. What about the elementary level?
Elementary has, been one of those areas that we have concentrated on in the last couple of years, but it really kind of naturally took hold of one-to-one as we moved one-to-one into high schools, into middle schools. A lot of what we had in those schools migrated down. So we had Chromebooks, laptops, and things of that nature just roll right down into elementary schools. So it was kind of a natural process for some elementary schools to really kick up their one-to-one programs. Then we had some principals who utilized their funds, who utilized PTA funds to also enhance one-to-one in their buildings. Now, in light of what's happening right now with COVID-19, we've seen that a lot of what's in these schools is being checked out to students. So that's been a good plus to be able to have these devices in these elementary schools. And we just continue to think that in the future, we're going to make grades 3 through 5 a priority, making sure that we have one-to-one in those grades, and then looking at our K-1-2 programs.
Ed, thank you for explaining that device plan that we're putting into place.
Not a problem.
Um, Maybe even more importantly, to give us more insight on how the devices are being used, we're joined by two of our Instructional Technology Resource Teachers, or ITRT, who work directly with staff and students in our schools to put the technology to good use. John Fry and Ronnie Giles, thanks for talking with us today. And John, maybe start with you, and then Ronnie follow close behind. Can you give us just a specific example or two about ways you've worked with teachers to provide access to learning opportunities with our Chromebooks?
Well, certainly we've been working on teachers becoming Google Level 1 certified for 3 years now, in preparation for these Chromebooks coming out. And currently we are averaged 80% of the total staff at Bedford County Public Schools is Google Level 1 certified, which created a backbone for understanding the Google Suite for Education tools. And so we've been working with them hard to help them, utilize those tools, and they've really taken off. We've also held lots of professional development for teachers to learn several other types of learning management systems so that they can make videos and put out a wide variety of lesson plans for students.
Terrific. Ronnie, do you have an example or two you could share?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's awesome that we sped up that process of getting the one-to-one Chromebooks out from 6 to 12, because it really helped prepare us for this type of situation. All of our teachers at Liberty High School, at least, have been using Google Classroom all year and preparing lessons ahead of time, and then providing direct one-on-one support in the classroom when needed. So I think doing that really helped prepare us for something like this.
So what type of work have you seen our learners doing using their devices since the school closure?
A lot of the same things that they were doing in the classroom when they were at school, because we were already kind of doing some of those things. So utilizing Google Classroom and the G Suite applications at home. And then, we did provide them with those USB sticks for those that don't have access. So being able to download those assignments on their computer and then turn them in or come on site and download. So, yeah, basically a lot of the same stuff, and then adding some applications, doing those live videos now through Facebook Live, Zoom, Google Meets, and YouTube Live, and even them creating live projects and whatnot has changed somewhat.
Are either of you all hearing of any learning difficulties due to the lack of reliable internet access?
I think that anytime that you have an area that may not have full internet, you're going to have challenges. I think that as we grow with our coverage, that we'll have less and less internet issues. Currently, we have heard that there are students that could be struggling because they don't have the internet, and we've tried to provide USB sticks with a lot of the offline information for them to work on. But it is a challenge when people don't have the internet and they're trying to get connected equitably like everybody else.
Well, thanks to both of you. This training that you all talked about and the work by folks like ITRT and our teachers is really providing a lot of learning opportunities. Stanton River Junior Jalen Ferguson joins us today too, and can give us a firsthand account of how she's been using her Chromebook. Jalen, hello, and thanks for being with us today. What type of work have you been doing on your Chromebook, especially since the school closure has started, and has the device been able to help you during that time?
I've been doing a lot of watching videos and a lot of Google Docs and stuff. I think it really has helped and has allowed me to, it actually made connecting with my teachers pretty easy.
Have you used your device at all to stay connected with the school community in any way, since we can't be there physically together?
Yeah, a lot of my teachers have been hosting Zooms and Google Meets, and we do those weekly. So yeah, that and emailing. My teachers connect with me through email and through their classroom.
Well, We really appreciate your being here today and sharing that insight with us. Well, one of the themes that we've been hearing from our staff and students is that the full benefit of our devices, our Chromebooks, depends on reliable internet service. And Bedford County has prioritized internet coverage over the past year and is currently in the midst of a plan to increase broadband service across the county. County Administrator Robert Hiss is here today with us to explain the county's plans and how Bedford County Public Schools families can benefit. So Robert, thanks for being here. Could you just share with us what the county's plans are to increase broadband access to all parts of the community?
Yeah, thank you, Mac, and I appreciate this opportunity. Bedford County really has 4 projects in the hopper right now. Currently, we're in process of constructing a wireless broadband 12-tower system throughout the county that will reach about 95% of those not already served. It's a $3.5 million project in conjunction with Blue Ridge Towers, and is funded half by state and half by the county. As the towers come online, we'll be marketing these structures in hopes of enticing other providers to locate on the towers and provide more internet and cell services. We also have a Tobacco Commission grant for a large fiber to the home project around Smith Mountain Lake area in partnership with Comcast, and that's under construction and should be finished within the next 12 months. We've had a new company come to the area called River Street Networks. They've received federal loans and grants for large fiber to the home deployment in central and south side Virginia. In terms of Bedford County, the service area will be in the Huddleston and southeast quadrant of the county. The bad thing is about that project is that service is still a couple of years out with that company. The final project we're working on is another partnership with Chantel on yet another state grant that we hope to submit in August for another fiber to the home project that will expand Chantel's footprint in Good and Forest in some communities outside the town of Bedford. They're looking at providing service to 300 to 400 homes. So those are the 4 projects that we have in the hopper that we're working on right now. And we're really excited to be able to provide this service to the county and expand the broadband footprint to our students and families.
That's terrific. Sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. Do you have any concrete timelines about when this service will be available and what subscription opportunities might look like?
Yeah, so the current agreement with Blue Ridge Towers for our wireless broadband system, the 12-tower system, that is to be, our current agreement is to be operational by August 14th. And we sincerely hope it will occur before then, but that's our agreement with Blue Ridge Towers right now. The ISP, or Internet Service Provider company, that the county is currently partnered with is BriskNet. That's BRISCNET. And BriskNet is a partner organization with Blue Ridge Towers. BriskNet is in process of developing the marketing materials for different tiered pricing based on upload and download speeds. That has not been finalized yet, so that information will be available in the near future. So continue to check out their website at www.brisknet.com for further updates.
Thanks to all of our guests for your time. We've known this was an important work as we keep up with really international trends in learning, but also international trends in business and just in all aspects of life. That being connected with one another, being able to communicate, being able to have access to information, no matter where you are, is really important. And we think this one-to-one initiative is a good step forward in that direction. And we appreciate the work that our staff's doing as well as the county's doing to make sure we can put all of that to good use for learning.
So hopefully now you have a better understanding about all that's required to support remote learning, and also all the planning that went into making the technology required to support one-to-one learning a reality here in Bedford County Public Schools. I'd also like to take this opportunity to let everybody know that we don't see any way that we're going to be able to have our high school graduations on May 30th as they've been originally scheduled. I don't believe this comes as a surprise to any of you, but we wanted to make sure you also knew that all three of our high schools are working hard to find a date, time, location, and format that's going to work for a traditional graduation ceremony, hopefully as early as the mid to late summer. We're going to monitor very closely the guidance that we get from our state and our local health departments about the requirements for social distancing and when we're allowed to have ceremonies like graduations. I wanted you all to know how important that is to us and that we are committed to making that happen as soon as possible. I also wanted to take this moment to thank our teachers. For those of you that didn't know, this is Teacher Appreciation Week, and this is a week under normal circumstances when teachers would receive many gifts, many accolades, and many tokens of appreciations from our community, from our students, from our parents, and from the administration at their schools. So on behalf of our staff, I just want to thank all of our teachers for all that you do each and every day, and especially for the hard work that you're doing in these unusual circumstances, providing the continuity of learning to our students. Lastly, I'd like to invite you to tune in next week when we're going to recognize our Support Employees of the Year. So please tune in and stay safe.